Mr. Tony O'Brien, this is your second service plan and the first for your newly established directorate. What are your key priorities for 2014?
Well, the first and most important priority is to ensure that we have a universal focus on quality and patient safety in all that we do. That's particularly important coming off the back of 4 successive years of significant cuts in resources and with the challenges that lie ahead. So quality and safety will be at the centre of every manager's goals and every member of staff's goals in the year ahead.
You've been given a target by government of 666 million to achieve for 2014, which is nearly 4 billion over the last number of years. Is 666 million achievable?
Well, the good news, or somewhat good news, is that that's now been reduced to 619 million. There is no doubt, going to be difficult and challenging, but I'm certain that we can achieve what we need to achieve in 2014, while at the same time making some key service improvements.
In relation to the following service areas, can you describe how the 2014 plan is going to affect, let's say, for example, the disability sector?
Well, the disability sector is going to have some new investment. We're particularly focusing on earlier access to diagnostic and therapy services for 0 to 18s, and also for school leavers, which has been an issue over a number of years. The provision of appropriate placements for school leavers, there's going to be significant additional investment in that area. At the same time, we do need to have value for money savings from disability sector providers. We're looking for 5 million in that area, which needs to be arrived at by increasing the sharing of back office functions and by increased back office efficiencies, and not at the adverse consequence for any service users.
How will the 2014 plan affect acute hospitals?
Well, acute hospitals are going to have a slightly higher overall budget in 14 than in 13, but it won't be at the level of their 13 expenditure, so there remains a challenge. Those hospitals in particular that didn't deliver on their cost containment challenges will be asked now to deliver on those in 14. There will in addition be some new service developments which will take place in acute hospitals, such as the provision of the bilateral cochlear implant programme, some additional resources, for example, in oncology and hemato-oncology, and some other areas that are detailed in the service plan.
In relation to mental health?
Mental health will have the benefit this year of an additional 20 million. It was originally intended it would be 35 million, but government has allocated a ring-fenced 20 million. That will provide something between 250 and 280 additional staff, which moves us some way along the road towards the Vision for Change objectives. We'll also be seeking to ensure that some of the foundation issues are addressed, that as posts become vacant, critical posts, there shouldn't be long delays in approving replacement posts and so on. So that will be of great benefit to our colleagues in mental health.
How does the 2014 plan support the ambulance service?
Well, one of the key issues for the ambulance service is the issue of control. We've had a fragmented control system, and we have a plan in place to move towards 2 national control centres by 2015. There is funding in the 14 service plan to enable much of the progress that needs to be made to make that 2015 target achievable. And we believe that that's central to the needs of the ambulance service and to addressing some of the areas of criticism that has come in for in recent times.
And in terms of the elderly and fair deal?
There'll be no change to the overall level of home care packages and the overall level of home help hours provided. That will be maintained at 2013 levels. But there will be a shift of about 23 million out of the fair deal scheme into high intensity home supports, so that staying at home becomes a more realistic option for about 1,000 people who would otherwise have no real option but to go into long-term care. So we're effectively trading 700 long-term institutional care places for resources to enable people to live their lives out as they would wish in their own homes, and that's a positive development.
Politically and in the media, medical cards has received a lot of attention over the last year or so, particularly in relation to a 113 million probity exercise that is expected to be achieved. Does that 113 million remain in place?
Well, probity is an important issue, which basically means that people who should have cards get them and those who shouldn't don't, and also that our service providers are paid appropriately. We believe that there's about 20 to 23 million available from such measures. On budget day, an additional figure of about 113 million was inserted. We maintained throughout that that was not deliverable and not desirable. Thankfully, government has now changed its policy in relation to that, helped us out with 47 million of additional funding to bridge part of the gap, and the rest we're bridging by taking a different view on the provision we should make in our budget for pension lump sums. Now, that won't affect any individual's pension lump sum, but means that as an organisation we're carrying some risk of a deficit in that area. We've agreed a process to review that with government.
Is there any particular message that you have for staff at the end of 2013?
Well, the first thing I want to do is thank our 100,000 staff, who used to be 112,000 staff, for the enormous efforts they've made to keep the health service running in the way they have, given the almost 4 billion euros that have been withdrawn in health funding. and the over 10% cut that we've had in terms of the number of colleagues we have. The fact that our services are not only sustained, but in many ways have been improved in that period is a testament to their hard work and dedication. I wish I could say that 14 was going to be easier or simpler. It's not. It's going to be difficult and it's going to be challenging. But with everyone's continued goodwill and active participation, I believe that we can both sustain and improve our services. And in particular, I'm asking that all of our colleagues have an increased focus on quality and patient safety in everything that we do. Given the time of year, in addition to thanking colleagues for the enormous efforts they've made, I think it's appropriate that I wish everyone both a happy Christmas and an enjoyable new year, and that they come back from whatever break they have refreshed and ready for the challenges ahead.